Hi everyone, hope that you're doing well. If you're a returning viewer, welcome. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Daisy Delicacy. I'm a professional burlesque performer in New York City. And you are watching Act It Out, which is my video web series where I talk about the different acts that I do in my life as a burlesque performer. So today is a very special episode because I'm going to be talking about my Midsummer Night's Dream act. I'm going a little bit off the timeline of when I posted each of the teasers of my act and when I created each of the acts, but you'll see why at the end of this video. Stay tuned for the end of this video because there's a very special announcement at the end. So without further ado, let's get started. So a lot of you who know me in real life know that I don't just do burlesque performing. I'm also an actress, a singer, and a dancer. I grew up doing musicals when I was younger, and that's primarily what I do now. I've done a lot of musical theater, but I also do operas, I've done plays, I've done some film and TV work. I really have done a lot of different theatrical productions. I just love it all. And Midsummer Night's Dream is, without a doubt, my favorite Shakespeare play and just one of my favorite plays of all time. I love that there's really something for everybody in it. There's comedy, there's drama, there's romance, and there's a happy ending to boot. And there's magic and fairies. Who wouldn't love that? Who wouldn't want to go see that? So it's been a play that I've really loved for a very, very long time, ever since I was a kid. And I knew that I wanted to create an act based on A Midsummer Night's Dream. I also am a big fan of the ballet of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I love the Mendelssohn music in it. It's gorgeous, it's very ethereal and twinkly. It really does sound like music that I could see fairies skipping around and dancing to. So that was the idea for the act. I wanted to do something that was very much like that. The thing is though, when I was starting to create the act, I knew right off the bat I didn't want to be a specific character from A Midsummer Night's Dream. I didn't want to be a specific fairy or lover or mechanical. None of that. I just kind of wanted to be a neutral fairy, if you want to call it that. Just a fun-loving, cutesy fairy skipping around to the midsummer music, all that kind of stuff. I didn't really want to be a specific character because I didn't really want it to be too specific of an act. I really just wanted it to be a fun fairy act that could be bookable for any time of the year, really. Of course, for summer, because, you know, Midsummer Night's Dream. But I felt like if I was going to be a specific character, it would be a little bit too niche, a little bit too, oh, I can only book this for this amount of time or for this kind of show. Just a generic kind of fairy act, I think, is definitely more bookable. It's something that I think is more appealing to more people, aside from just one Shakespeare character. So I just stuck with my generic fairy midsummer act. I think most of you know by now that when it comes to creating my acts and choreographing my acts, I always start in my living room. I started with the music in my living room, just kind of moving around and dancing to it. And the thing about the music for A Midsummer Night's Dream is that it's from the ballet. So the act had to be very ballet infused. I've taken ballet for many, many years. I'm not the greatest dancer of all time, but I do consider ballet one of my stronger styles. I feel very comfortable with it. I knew as I was listening to the music what specific move I wanted to do here, so maybe a sauté here, maybe a rond de jambe here, all that stuff. It really kind of became clear to me as I listened to the music what I could and couldn't do, and I decided to put in whatever felt great in my act. I tried a bunch of times to make it very, very balletics to the point where I was doing like double pirouettes and maybe even teeny little fouette turns. But the thing about choreographing for a burlesque routine is if you can do those moves, great. But ultimately, you don't want your choreography to take away too much from the teasing aspect of what you're doing. You don't want it to be just a dance number. You still have to tease. You still have to entice the audience and draw them in and plan where you're gonna take things off or do this trick or things like that. So much to my dismay, because I do love ballet, I love going crazy with choreography, I had to keep it very standard ballet without too many twists and turns and creative tricks in there. The thing about the music for this act too is that it repeats a lot, so I decided to repeat a lot of my choreography. When I did something to the right, I mimicked it to the left. And I'm not usually a huge fan of doing it, but it's ballet. That happens in every ballet performance, in every ballet choreography. It's like if you do something one way, you do it the other way. In classical ballet, I think things are done in threes. So you do like an arabesque and a pirouette and you repeat that 3 times. I don't know why that's a rule, but it's a thing and I put it in my act. I repeated a lot of the steps. Also because I was actually on a time crunch creating this act, a personal time crunch. I really wanted to have this act set for summer bookings. I had this idea in my head for a really long time, but I had never really set to filming it or getting it on its feet. And then when summer started rolling around, I knew, oh my God, I'm on a time crunch. I have to get this done. I have to get it filmed. So I kept it simple. And sometimes simple is good. You don't have to do crazy moves in a burlesque routine to make it the most amazing burlesque routine you've ever seen. You just have to keep it simple, clean, specific, that's important, and just have fun with it. I know that kind of sounds like a just have fun with it kind of a PSA thing, but it really is true. And again, I say this in every video, I am sorry if you're hearing noise out there. New York City apartment living, what are you gonna do? So I want to talk a little bit about the costume of the act too. This was actually the hardest part of putting the act together because I was playing a fairy. And of course, you don't have to have a crazy, specific, or elaborate fairy costume for a successful burlesque routine. But this is Midsummer, you know, people have a set idea of what the fairies look like. They're very ethereal and very flowery and very naturey, and I wanted to look like that. So I set to work on my costume. I ordered a flower crown, fairy wings, a lingerie kind of style dress that opens in the front in a bright green. Yeah, it's bright green. It's not dark green. Why was I thinking that? It's a bright green. And I ordered some just kind of generic ballet slippers. Here's another thing too, when you're doing a burlesque routine, especially if you're doing a ballet burlesque routine, get shoes that fit. Mine don't fit in that video. And it makes my feet look very awkward. My lines aren't very good. But what are you gonna do? I was on a time crunch and needed cheap shoes, so that's what I did. I also bought vines to wrap around my arms for it because I do some teasing with the vines in the act. I twist them off my arms and kind of snap them like that. It's really fun. And the hardest part too of making the costume was putting all of the flowers I remember I went to Michael's one day and just bought a ton of artificial flowers and hot glued them on my dress like crazy. There's flowers that drip down each side of it. There's flowers up in this area. Again, you hear the door again, I'm sorry. But it was just a lot of flowers, you know, because you want to look as fairy-like as possible and as naturey as possible. You got to put lots of flowers on it. I hot glued them, which was both a good thing and a mistake because of course the hot glue is a very simple and quick solution, but at the same time, hot glue doesn't always hold that well if you're transporting costumes from place to place. I'm not as skilled as a sewer as I would like to be. If I could sew all my flowers on, I would have done that, but I didn't, they're just glued on. So I gotta do actually some repairs on that costume soon, but I digress. I really do like how it turned out. It does look very fairy and flowery. It does look really great on film too, on camera. And speaking of which, I'm gonna show you a little bit of the teaser for the act. Right now you can see the full teaser on my YouTube channel, but here's just a little snippet of the act right now for you. So unfortunately, I can't show more of the act because I think YouTube is gonna strike me for showing too much skin, for violating the guidelines or something, which is frustrating, but it's burlesque. What are you gonna do? It's YouTube. What are you gonna do? But I will describe how the act goes from there. So after I do all that kind of cutesy like teasing and flitting around and like looking around to see if anyone's finding me or following me, I do some teasing with the vines that are on my arms. I unwrap them and I kind of use them as whips. Kind of like, ooh, I'm a fairy, but I've got like a little bit of a naughty side too. It's really fun. It's really cute. And after I do all of that, I throw the vines and I get down on the floor and do some floor work. I normally don't do a lot of floor work in my acts, but this one I felt like was perfect for it. I was wearing a costume that was great for floor work, and I feel like fairies would definitely get on the floor and do some fun stuff. So I kick my legs up, and I also do a spread eagle, I guess is what you call it. I spread my legs pretty wide, and then I roll through a center split too. I do some rond de jambes, and then it ends with me doing a very fast beret alternate, very fast in a circle, and then the dress comes off and I do a little bit of a back tease. The act ends with me having my arms across my chest, and it ends with Mickey Rooney doing Puck's final speech from A Midsummer Night's Dream, that If We Shadows Have Offended. And this was a really fun part of the act because I came up with a lot of different mime movements I could do to the monologue. So just so you can see, this is a demonstration. If we shadows have offended, actually no, that's not what it is. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended. You get it. And that goes on for the entire monologue at the end. And then when he says, give me your hands, it's like, oops, I'm revealing that I have pasties on. Oh darn. But whatever. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Nice big ballet bow, and then I flit off as a fairy. It's a really, really fun act. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Congratulations! In all sincerity, thank you so much for watching this far. And if you just skipped ahead to this part, okay, whatever. But thank you for watching this part regardless. So on to that special announcement. I mentioned at the start of the video that I am an actress and that Midsummer Night's Dream is my favorite play, and it's a play I have always wanted to do. And that dream is coming true. And not only is that dream coming true, I'm getting to play my dream role of Hermia in a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I'm really, really excited. This production is going to be August 16th through the 20th at Beach 95 Amphitheater in Rockaway, New York. It's presented through a company called Shakespeare on the Beach. Rehearsals have been going really, really well with this company. They're a great group of people. I love working with them, and I really hope that if you are in the New York City area, you'll come and see one of the performances, or multiple performances. Seriously, it's gonna be such a great show. I'm so excited to get to play my dream role. Please check out all the show information in the link that I've included in this video's description. I've also linked Shakespeare on the Beach's Facebook page and Instagram account. Please go like and follow them. There's so many cool updates going on both of these pages, and it would mean a lot to me and the rest of the cast and crew if you did that. So that's it for this episode of Act It Out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff for this video. And I hope to talk to you all soon. Thanks. Bye.